This is a little talk on a very good, one of the few good gurus or teachers in this world in this time, namely Shunyamurti in Costa Rica. He's good, quite good. I mean, he's very intelligent and he's very learned. He has a lot of knowledge. He was probably a quite intellectual figure. But the thing is that he's one of the few good ones because he's really highly intelligent and he has a good perspective. He has a good totality perspective, so to speak. He can see and draw the lines very easily from both Western and Eastern philosophy and the state of the world and the state of nature and the human condition and many things. It's really good. But some of the things are, of course, also stupid and a little bit bad and not so good. And I would like to say a little bit something on his use of the word avatar, because in his mind, to become an avatar means that you become a self-realized person, which means that you become a God creature, which means that you become a representation of God, so to speak, I think. Because he asked the congregation, his followers or the students in the retreat, do you really want to become avatars? Because if you don't want to become avatars, then you're actually wasting your time. And I would like to say something about that, because first of all, it's just bullshit. The first thing is that he don't understand what an avatar is. An avatar is simply an incarnation. Shunyamurti is concerned, or he's deeply, he highly values and appreciates the experience of the ultimate, to say it lightly or to say it elegantly without too much religion in it. He appreciates to experience the ultimate, and he derives some kind of knowledge from that, which in his case becomes a divine sort of knowledge. I mean, the ultimate becomes something divine for him. It's just a part of the nervous system, but he doesn't know that because he lives in his own salad. He lives in his own little mayonnaise layer inside the brain, but that's no problem about that. Everyone does that. It's a part of the brain. It's a part of the human program. He's not at fault for being like that. It's a bacteria. The path of spirituality is actually a waste of time. If you really want freedom, if you really want self-realization, then spirituality is a trap in many ways. But you need that trap in order to find the truth, in order to see the truth. But more of that in another talk, I guess. But the interesting thing to say is that whatever you are, you will be an avatar. Whatever you are, you will be an avatar. I'm an avatar in this moment. Why? Because I'm an incarnation of that something in me which produces the incarnation that I am in this moment. I am an avatar of that in me which produces the avatar which I am in the current moment. That goes for everyone. Every part of the human existence is an avatar existence, seen from the point of view from the ultimate, or from Kierkegaard's, you could say, from evighetens synsvinkel, from the perspective of eternity, from the viewpoint of eternity, from the viewpoint of eternity. If the ultimate exists, if the divine exists, and if the ultimate and the divine affects the human being when it comes to all of our different incarnations, then these incarnations are avatars. They are avatars of a combination of God and the human program. They are avatars of energy. They are avatars of energy. They are avatars of that in us which produces ourselves through the human program. So whatever you are an avatar. We are. The world is like Facebook. Everything is an avatar. All our Facebook profiles are avatars, right? They are cartoons. They are cartoons that we produce in order to present ourselves. But we are not these cartoons. We are not these avatars. Even Shunyamurti is not the avatar that he is in any moment that he talks. He thinks like that because he lives in a delusion. But never mind about that. It's a delusion that works for him because he receives love from around him, from the surroundings, and he has found a way to believe in himself in a divine way, and he gets nourishment from followers. So that helps. That is a part of the architecture that gives him the acupuncture that leads to the self-love that he needs in order to reach these conclusions. It's all about, his brain makes him feel good. His brain makes him feel good because he treats his own brain in the right way, and his brain is exposed to those experiences which produce good states. That takes a long time. It's a product of yoga. As he says, it's a product of, and yoga is self-knowledge. It is self-discovery. Yoga is self-discovery, self-knowledge, and maybe perhaps yoga is most of all self-experience, because the deepest essence, the deepest part of yoga is to be in the experience of the self, not in the realization of the self, but in the experience itself of the self, of that which we call the self in yoga, yogic discourse, in the discourse of yoga. But anyway, so we're all avatars in a way, and we have to be avatars because we are that which come into being as a result of that which produces us, and that which produces us is energy through the human program. We can call it God, we can call it Shiva, we can call it whatever we want. It's all up to how the discourse that we attach to shapes our own narrative and perspective, the way that we relate, the way that we think. Our thoughts are modified, our thoughts are influenced by the way we think. I condition I condition my thoughts by my own thinking. When I'm thinking, when I'm adhering to this language game in this moment, then this language game is going to influence my next talk, my next incarnation within language, so to speak. The discourse that I'm in will influence the discourse that I'm going to get to, right? The discourse of the now is going to affect and influence the discourse of the future. The way that I think now will influence the way that I think in 2 minutes. Maybe not in 10 minutes, because in 10 minutes the whole wheel, the whole structure, the whole process, the whole cycle has changed enough. So it will not be like that. Things are fluid or in a flux, so to speak. It doesn't take too long before things start to change. But anyway, this talk is an important part. This talk is an important reflection on Shunyamurti and also on the nature of the human being, so to speak, if you're able to understand what I'm saying, if you're able to experience and see through introspection also and self-experience that which I'm referring to or pointing to, or opening up for the experience of. But anyway, it is well worth to say things like this, because some people in our world are really very clever. But the fact that they are really very clever should not mean that they should become have a diplomatic immunity. That they should be exposed to criticism more than anyone, I mean, if you're clever, if you're more clever than anyone, or if you're a special one, then you should be exposed to criticism. We all should accept that. Everyone should accept that. It's just a part of being human. And when we get understood by other people, that's very good. Even if they criticize us or not. If we don't get understood, then we just have to accept the shower of criticism that perhaps is not very valid or to the point or very relevant. But anyway, we all need scrutiny, and especially gurus like Muji and Shunyamurti and Rupert Spira and blah blah blah, all these people who sometimes confuse that which is produced by the human program with God, with Shiva and da 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 da. And this confusion is very fine, it's very nice, there's no problem about that. It's just a part of the machinery, it's the part of Shiva, so to speak. It's a part of the wheel, it's a part of the world. And everyone are welcome to praise the Lord, in any way that we can and they can. But please know that there is something that is producing this reality, and that which is producing this reality is the human program. And the human program is, as we know, the brain and the nervous system. When it comes to the origin of consciousness, we do not include that discussion in this talk. So that will of course have deep relevance also for the things that Shunyamurti talks about. But we won't talk about this now in this video. This was simply just to put a little bit of more space into the discourse and the language game and the perspective and the narrative that is presented by some of our guru resources in this world today. Thank you.